There's some stuff that I simply can't say. I'll get in trouble if I say it. Guys, this is one of the first pictures of the NIO house in the UAE, in Abu Dhabi. That's right, guys. NIO is going to be in the UAE very, very soon. We know they were supposed to be in UAE by June of this year. That was the original plan, but things are going smoothly. It's going to be in the UAE before the end of the year, and they're even looking for spots to place swap stations. And we know for a fact that they're going to sell well in the UAE because there's high demand for big, luxurious vehicles in the UAE. We also know for a fact that in Europe, NIO is going to expand as well in France, in Spain, in Italy. And this is something that I kind of disagree with, all right? I have my own reservation for this. I have a clip of NIO's president explaining why they're still going to expand there despite the EU tariffs. And with the EU tariffs, it's pretty much guaranteed that NIO ain't going to be earning much money there. It's probably not going to be profitable. And from an investor's perspective, if it's not profitable, why are you still going to do it? Well, we'll let the president explain why in a second, but we got to also remember that they also have those swap stations in Denmark earning about 200k euros per year just from energy trading. So NIO's core business doesn't even have to be selling cars because of the fluctuations of electricity prices and how insanely expensive it is in Europe. So I guess from that perspective, it could still be worth expanding. But if you guys paid attention to their sales in Europe, it's not great. It's not great. But first, let's roll a clip. NIO's president explaining why they're still gonna expand into Europe for the expansion.
I am Chin Li Hong from NIO Automobiles. Recently, due to the EU's anti-subsidy investigation and other changes, many people are questioning whether Chinese electric vehicles can still thrive in Europe. My answer is absolutely positive. The background for these trade barriers is indeed because the European electric vehicle industry has fallen behind technologically. This time, what China is showcasing is not low-price dumping, but superior technology and better products. I believe that at least we at NIO will maintain a stable strategic approach in this volatile situation, launching better products and providing better services, firmly establishing our foothold in Europe, demonstrating the strength and stability of our smart electric vehicles from China. Please continue to trust us. We will consistently provide you with better products and services. I wish you all the best, safety and good health.
There's some stuff that I simply can't say. I'll get in trouble if I say it. But as you can tell from NIO's president's perspective, the only reason there's tariffs is because European automakers' technology is behind that of Chinese automakers. Having that said, all right, I'm going to ignore the part that I can't say, and here's what I can say. All right, here's what I can say. It is the fact that the EU software and everything is kind of being neglected, all right? For example, NIO phone support. A lot of the things that you can do with a NIO here in China, you cannot do in Europe. For example, namely NOP Plus. Here in China, you can use it on all roads, basically. But there in Europe, even though the cars have the same hardware, the same processing power, unfortunately, it can only be used on the highway. And there's lots of these kind of limitations and also stuff, for example, a whole entire delivery experience. I've heard so many complaints from subscribers in Europe how when they take delivery of the car, there's scratches on the car, etc. Stuff like that. Stuff that shouldn't really be happening. Error on the car, some sort of just little like hiccups here and there. All right, that they really need to polish. They really need to not exactly neglect the European owners, all right? I mean, here in China, I understand China is the priority market, all right? It's the most important market. However, you got to also make sure that the European guys, they have a similar experience like what you have here in China, driving a NIO here in China, because I can tell you, like, the NIO phone support and all that kind of stuff, it's just not there in Europe, all right? And there's so much other stuff that's available here in China, but not available for European NIO owners, which is kind of fortunate. Also, like, stuff like flexible battery upgrade, that kind of stuff, yeah. But to be fair, okay, if NIO expands in other countries like France, Spain, Italy, which they're gonna do, all right, we know for a fact they're gonna do, all right, that's actually very good for existing NIO owners there in Europe, because that means more swap stations in those countries, in those new countries, and they can definitely travel around and be able to swap going around EU. And it's sort of like, if, for example, I'm here in China, in Beijing, and you only had swap stations in Beijing and not in other cities, it wouldn't exactly be convenient, right? If I wanted to go far out, I would still have to charge, which, you know, kind of neglects the advantage of battery swap. So I guess from that point, you know, it's very nice that they're expanding in Europe, building more swap stations, earning the energy trading profit, and also providing more swaps for European NIO owners, which is really, really nice. So whilst it might seem illogical to keep on expanding in a hostile environment like Europe, all right, that's, you know, raising tariffs for Chinese EV companies like NIO, but keep in mind that UAE is friendly for companies like NIO. The UAE is very similar to China in the sense that people see cars as a luxury status symbol, whereas in Europe, you know, people tend to like smaller vehicles. They see it more as a transportation tool. And if you look at Dubai, the opulence there, people love big, nice, luxurious cars, and NIO is going to perfectly offer that for the rich people there. And I'm sure the concept of NIO houses will work very well in Europe, because, you know, it's indoors, it's very hot outdoors, it's indoors, you have a place for the child to play, for the husband to study or to work, and then the wife can go shopping in the mall. That's going to be very, very nice, and it's going to be very nice for the families there as well. And then battery swap, you have the ultimate convenience. It's very hot outside in the desert. You don't want to go outside and, you know, charge the car and waste time. You can just sit inside, enjoy the cool AC, and then do a battery swap, and then, you know, be off on your way. You ain't got the time for waiting for charging. And of course, if NIO launches the designated driver service there, I'm sure that's going to be very, very popular and in very hot demand, because rich people, they love being chauffeured around, and sometimes it might not be economical to fully hire a full-time driver, all right? That might be too excessive, but having a designated driver that you can just basically call on demand and trust them because it's from NIO, that could also be a very good revenue potential for NIO in Europe as well. Like it is here in China. It's very popular amongst the very busy, wealthy people. So I'm very confident that they're going to see success in UAE. And even though it's not profitable for further European expansion, I understand why they're expanding there. They just got to do it. They just got to do it. They can't hold back. All right, they just got to do it. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.